again is going to be recorded. And I want to say welcome and thank you for attending the first webinar of the year for Vision Powerhouse organization. This is a Vision Powerhouse sponsored webinar. And for those that are new and learning about Vision Powerhouse, we are a non-for-profit organization. When we started these webinars last year, we actually were going after our 501(c)(3) C3 status, and we have now received that. So just any deduction, any donations that you want to provide to us, those are 100% tax deductible. So wanted to share that. And Vision Powerhouse's goal, our vision is all centered around empowering women and seeking life-changing, where women are going through life-changing events and they need support. And how we do that is through mentorship and just, empowering and partnering individually with women to be able to really help women thrive. We really have a heart for that. And Latrice Lovelace is on the phone, but she is the visionary for Vision Powerhouse. And again, saw the vision for this 6 or 7 years ago now. And it's just really a blessing to see it come to life. And web is one of those things that we love to do to, if nothing else, have women not feel alone, have that touch point to be able to again be empowered, and we do that again through many avenues. Anthony, see if you can go to the next slide.
Oops. Do you see it now, Vanessa?
Yes, so we do this through various mechanisms, workshops, webinars. We do offer, life coach sessions where those are needed one-on-one or even in groups, seminars and, in the future retreats and conferences. And where we don't have the expertise internally, we have been building over a year a network of partners that we can also partner with and be able to provide support in that way by providing you partners or experts in certain areas such as financial education, substance abuse, domestic abuse, or grief counseling, any of those. Again, we're always seeking partnerships in that area. Just to learn more about us, just go to our website, and that's listed in the right-hand corner at the bottom of the screen. Just wanted to just welcome you and thank you. And we do have some upcoming events we want to share with you. I don't know if many of you last year attended our Purses and Pearls event. Our inaugural event was last year, and so this will be our second year in doing this. And we have a bit of a twist to it this year, which is our honorees from last year have selected the honorees for this year and will be paying that forward. And so it's going to be so exciting just to see that mentorship and how that's paid forward, and the continued testimonies of women that have transformed lives. So please join us. You can register with us today. This information again is on our website. We then have another webinar that's actually coming up, not until May, but wanted to go ahead and let you guys know about it. We have another wonderful author, Angela Foxworth, who's going to be sharing with us. And she has written a wonderful book around the pain behind a smile. And we're going to talk a lot about abuse and ways to overcome that. So put that on your calendars as well so that we can share that information with you. One event that's not listed here is that we are going to be doing the Spring Chicken Run again this year. And so there is information about that also on our website. It's a 5K. Please, look at our website. Also join us on our Facebook page or Instagram, any of the Vision Powerhouse social media outlets, so that you can find out information about the Spring Chicken Run, which is again, a race or run that is the funds are donated for the community, for the homeless and other avenues. So join our team, and so we would look forward to being able to see you guys there and get a little physical activity in, which is another way for great self-care. With that, I am going to turn it over to Shantanese Reese, who is our speaker for the rest of the hour. So guys, be engaged and get ready to be blessed.
Good evening, everyone. And so my hope is that everyone can hear me just fine. And so there definitely is.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Vanessa. I was going to say there's certainly a chat feature in the event that you are camera shy or that your voice is not camera ready. But good evening. My name is Shantanese Reese, and I'm so honored to be here this evening as one of Vision Powerhouse's guests. So thank you, Vanessa, for getting the stage set for this evening and for welcoming everyone. What a phenomenal slate of activities. And again, hats off to you all for everything that you've done in this past year, as well as what you plan to do in the upcoming year. So I know that Latrice is listening and is on silent, so kudos to her as well. So who is Shantanese Reese? Why is this person talking to you this evening? So I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am an HR professional. I've been in HR for as long as my oldest daughter has been around. That's what helps me remember how long I've been in HR. So it's been over 20 years. I'm also a business owner. In the fall of 2017, I just took the leap and jumped out and launched my consulting firm, which is called Super Extraordinary Mom, LLC. And it's an HR consulting firm that specializes in leadership development webinars and workshops. And they're fun, super engaging, and you leave with challenged thoughts and increased self-awareness. And so definitely check out my website if you have an opportunity, which is superextraordinarymom.com. I'm a speaker, as I mentioned. I enjoy facilitating workshops, and I'm also an author. And so I'll talk a little bit about my book later when we are together. Some of my other most important roles are that I'm a wife and a mother. And so I have been married to my husband, Steve Reese, there that you see. We're going on 12 years, hard to believe. And then I am mother to the Reese's Pieces there that you see. So starting at the forefront and working around, you see Molly. She is the one that I mentioned who is 21. She's at Iowa State, has aspirations to become a vet. And then we have Azan. He's 19. He is our Marine, so he's actually in California. Molly's in Iowa. And then we have Joshua, who is 10, and he's just extremely busy. He's on the chess team, the step team, you name it. I think Joshua is probably in about almost every club. And then there's Hannah Banana. That's not her real name, but we call her Hannah Banana at times. She is in soccer and also is on the cheerleading team. And then we have Nina Sophia. She is our 5-year-old. And I forgot to mention that Hannah is 8. Nina is extremely busy. Definitely tries to keep up with her older siblings. And then rounding out the end is little Josiah. And Josiah is 3. and he is the sweetest little thing. Of course, I'm a little biased. So those are the Reese's Pieces. That's my family. And they certainly keep me busy and keep me on my toes. So that is a little bit about me. So today we're going to talk about springing forward, a new you. I love this image because look how determined she looks. And doing planks, one of my least favorite things to do, but it's certainly important when you're trying to establish core and get your body strengthened. So we are going to talk about just being determined and what we need to do in order to spring forward and have a new you. So buckle your seatbelts. We're about to go into this journey. And by all means, if you have a question, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question, or send me a message in the chat feature. And I'd be glad to answer any questions. This is definitely an interactive exchange webinar. And so we're going to have a great time together. All right, you ready? Let's go. All right, so springing forward, a new you. And as Vanessa mentioned, my hope is that you actually grab something to write with, because I am going to be asking questions, and asking you to write those responses to those questions and to share if you're willing. So, key questions for this evening. Are you operating in your gifts and your passions? Do you feel worn out by the hustle and grind of everyday life? And essentially, are you living your best life? So let's just take a quick poll. I'd love to hear from the audience. How many of you feel like deep down that you are operating in your gifts and your passions? Or how many of you feel that you are just simply worn out by the day end hustle and grind? You're going. You're trying to get to this place. You're trying to get this accomplished. You're winning this contract. You're starting another contract. Let me hear from you all. Are you living your best life? What do you think?
Hi, Shantanese, it's Latrice. I think I am operating in my gifts and my passion, which has me worn out by the hustle and and the grind of everyday life. It's challenging, but I do love what I'm doing, so that makes it easier. But I am a bit tired at times in trying to keep up with the demands.
Gotcha. And that's perfect. And thank you so much for sharing, Latrice, because even if you feel as if you're operating in your gifts and your passions, we'll talk this evening about making certain that you are remaining healthy. Anyone else? Is there anyone else who'd like to share? Are you operating in your gifts and your passions? And, or do you feel worn out by the hustle and bustle of everyday life? And I just want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to share if they'd like to share.
Hi, this is Cynthia.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of in between starting to feel what my passion is or figuring out what my passion is. So that's where I am. I'm not quite there yet.
Okay, great. We will discuss some tools so it will help you get there. And would love to hear testimony afterwards. Okay. All right. So that is the theme. That's the question for this evening. Are you living your best life? And so what exactly does that look like? And so I have here on the screen some examples of me living my best life. And so what is this? What are you looking at? What you see here are pictures of me at my first book signing event. And so you can see Vanessa up there in the corner, and we're sharing a little special moment there as she is getting her book signed. And so me becoming an author, that definitely has been a dream of mine. And so to see that dream come to fruition, it's exciting. It's also draining, but I'm excited and feel as if I'm definitely on point and living my best life. What is living your best life? Does it mean that you're spending more time with loved ones? Does it mean that you are going out and enjoying life and you're being present? Does it mean that you maybe are traveling and seeing new places? Does it mean that you are pausing and just being still for a moment? What exactly does living your best life look like for you? And so you see here this image of me at the Porsche customer experience. And I tell you, when I saw those cars, I was flabbergasted. I almost didn't even want to touch it. But I have been able to be at Porsche as a result of my consulting business. And so being there at Porsche is a representation of me living my best life. And so I'd love to hear from you all. What is living your best life? What does that mean to you? What does that look like? How do you walk that out? Any takers?
So this is Latrice. I'll take it. I am a big fan of vision boards, and I've created a vision board that has everything that is important to me, and that would signal a point in my life where I am living my best life. And as I look at my vision board now, I have some things to do. And I do have a visual of what that looks like using a vision board. So that's what I use to see what that looks like and to continue to try to meet those goals.
That's perfect. Thank you for sharing, Latrice. Are there others who have vision boards? Because that's a perfect way to keep your aspirations and your goals in front of you on a regular basis. So as a reminder, this is why I do what I do on a daily basis. This is why I'm doing the 9 to 5. This is why I'm experiencing the hustle and grind. Are there others who are with us who also have vision boards?
Shantanice, this is Vernessa, and I also have a vision board. I'm looking at it right now above my desk. I try to keep it where I can visually see it and be mindful that the things that I'm doing throughout the day should be lining up with my vision.
That's perfect. And Pamela James also shared that she has a vision board, and she, I presume, probably has it right in front of her as well. So that's phenomenal. We have a number of people on the call who know what they want in terms of their best life, what it should look like, and they have it in front of them on a regular basis. So if you don't already, vision boards are very popular nowadays. You could probably still find a few places that will host a vision board party. If you don't already have a vision board, I certainly encourage you to make one, create one. It'll be fun. I have one as well. It's just on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I have it in my office, so it's something I see on a regular basis. But it's important to keep our goals in front of us. It's important to keep reminders of why we're doing what we're doing, and ultimately where we want to be. If where we are today is not where we want to be, what do we need to do to get there, and what does it look like? So if you haven't spent some time, thinking about, what exactly does living my best life look like in relation to where I am in my life right now, now is a perfect time to think about that and see what you need to do in order to get there. Okay. So we'll go on to the next slide here. So we are going to talk about exploring ways to identify your God-given purpose. And I want to make certain that I didn't skip a slide. I guess I didn't. Sorry, my apologies. All right, so so purpose. The reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. What is the reason for which you were created? The word purpose oftentimes is overused, and a number of people don't necessarily know or understand what it means. I definitely appreciate this definition, the reason for which something is done or created. So think about that. Think about that. We all have been created for a specific and unique purpose. And it's incumbent upon each of us to understand and know what our purpose is and why we were actually created. And so I want to just take a moment for you to think about, what is the reason for which you created? Why were you born? Why were you Vanessa, Latrice, or Pamela, or Malila? Why were you created uniquely? And what's your purpose that's you're supposed to be here on this earth doing? And are you doing that? And so I just want to take a moment for each of us to kind of reflect on that. Are you operating in your purpose? Do you know what your purpose is? And if not, you are definitely in the right place this evening. And so Vanessa chimed in and she says that she definitely believes that. And I'm thinking she's talking about that we are all created for a specific purpose. Yes. So just pausing for just a moment. All right, so if you don't know or are not clear about your purpose, how can you understand your purpose? How do you find it out? You can understand your purpose through your strengths, okay? And so what you see here on the screen are various personality assessments. So the first one that I have is the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, which is the MBTI. And you can see it assesses your different personality types. So are you an extrovert or are you an introvert? Or do you perceive information through judging, or do you more feel when you're thinking about situations or interacting with people? And so if you're not familiar with the MBTI, I certainly encourage you to investigate and see if that's something that would be helpful for you to help you understand what your strengths are. StrengthsFinder 2.0 is also a great resource. And you can see here that Don Clifton and also from Gallup, they've partnered together and have created Strength Finders. I definitely enjoy the Strength Finders because of the philosophy is focus on your strengths. We're all extremely strong and capable in various areas. And oftentimes when we're at work or working in a particular role, if we are undergoing performance appraisals, they're talking about, areas of improvement. Well, Strength Finders encourages you to focus primarily on your strengths, and it gives you the top 5 areas of strength so that you can focus on those areas and continue to strengthen them. And so if you have not checked out StrengthsFinder, I definitely encourage you to do so. And so Vanessa chimes in. She says that she really likes the StrengthsFinders, and so I do too. And basically the way it works is you purchase the book, and it will give you an assessment so that you can answer a series of questions, and then the system will tell you what your top 5 strengths are. One other assessment that I really enjoy is the DISC personality assessment. And it also focuses on various areas. So whether you are dominant in your personality, or if you're more of an influencer, meaning you like to interact with people and get people to buy in and collaborate, or are you more of a compliance person who likes things to be accurate and in order, or are you someone who's steady and doesn't necessarily like constant change? So knowing those types of attributes about yourself will help you understand what your purpose is. So just a quick question. I know, Vanessa, you shared that you like StrengthsFinder. Has anyone else taken MBTI or StrengthsFinder or DISC? There's also the Wonderlic. There are a number of other personality assessments that a number of companies are using, but these, I think, are the top 3 well-known resources for identifying your strengths. So anyone have any personal experience with either of these assessments? Feel free to comment in the chat if you'd like, or unmute yourself.
Shantini, I really like the StrengthsFinder 2.0 just because
Vanessa, I'm not sure.
Really good one, especially if you're working within a team, and if you.
So Vanessa, I'm not sure if it's my connection or yours, but it's hard for me to hear you. So feel free to type what you're sharing, and I can share it with the rest of the group. It sounds like you were talking about StrengthsFinder and also talking about the benefits of a team taking the assessments. And yes, I definitely encourage that. If you're working on a team, any type of team, project, or a working team at work, taking the assessments will help you understand not only yourself, but also your team member. So you can understand why when you come in the morning, you say good morning to someone and they just kind of grumble at you or don't even respond. You can say, I remember that personality assessment that we took, and I'm not going to take it personally. I understand that that's just how that person is. So yes, taking any one of these assessments as a team is certainly very beneficial in terms of team building and cohesiveness. So, but yes, Vanessa, please feel free to share your comments in the chat, and I'll read them out to the rest of the group if they are not able to see. So your purpose can also be found in your concerns. And so what you see here are 2 images. One is of my husband and I. And so you can see it says, not my enemy. We recently attended a marriage retreat called Family Life Weekend to Remember. And marriage is so important to me. And I think it's under attack, meaning there are a number of forces that work against having successful marriages, healthy marriages. And so that's one of my purposes, because marriage is a concern for me. I like to sow into others' marriages. I like to help and encourage wives specifically. And I enjoy hosting prayer times for wives so that we can cover our marriages, cover ourselves, and also cover our husbands. And so Vanessa is just stating she's experiencing connectivity problems. No problem. We, Zoom in or chime in whenever you can. And so that's the first image that you see in terms of one of my concerns. So having marriage as a concern, that drives me, that propels me, that gives me a sense of purpose. And then you also see my daughter, Nina Sophia. And the scripture says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. And for me, growing up, I struggled with self-esteem and not really understanding my worth. And so I have a nonprofit that's called Daughters of the Mighty King, and it strives to help women, and particularly young women, understand and reach their potential by understanding and appreciating their relationship with Christ. So once they know that they are a daughter of the Mighty King, you just carry yourself differently when you're a princess. You have your head up higher, your shoulders are out, your chest is high. and you don't accept certain types of behaviors or treatment when you know that you are a princess, when you know that you are royalty. And so that's one of my concerns. And so having that as a concern, that also drives my purpose and gives me a sense of being. And so what is your purpose? As I mentioned, it can be found in your concerns. Our bishop, I attend Word of Faith Family Worship Cathedral. So Bishop Bronner talks about, what aggravates you, what kind of irritates you. So for the longest time, I thought I should be in the waste management industry because I just detested littering and was determined to carry gloves and one of those scoop picker uppers. I was determined to carry those around in my car anytime I was in an area that needed to be cleaned. So, maybe it's working with the elderly, or maybe it's cleaning and, being outside and beautifying various areas, or maybe it's working with children. So, what concerns you? What tugs at your heart? What really makes you lament at times? And so I would love to hear from the group, as I'm saying these and asking these questions, what's coming up for you? And again, feel free to type in the chat if you'd like, or unmute yourself and share your thoughts. What are your concerns?
Hi, look, this is Latrice. I'll share two of mine. One of mine is to help those with entrepreneur spirits, helping them to create businesses from ground zero, understanding what their passion is and how to turn it into a revenue stream. I love to support and help people's dreams come true of small business ownership. That's one of them. And then another is to, I have a heart for women who are going through challenges or tough situations, making sure that women know that there's support, there's mentorship out there for them, there's a support system out there for them. So that's part of VPH's mission as well. So those are two areas that I'm very passionate about: entrepreneurship and supporting women through difficult life-changing events.
And Latrice, thank you for sharing. A perfect example. So because of your concerns, you worked together, worked consistently, and created Vision Powerhouse. And so now an organization exists because of your concerns, and you are thereby changing the trajectory, helping others through your organization and through your ideas. And so that's what it's all about. That's what operating in our purpose is. By us operating in our purpose, we get fulfillment, and it spills over into others' lives and impacts others' lives. So thank you very much for sharing. And hopefully if the others who are on the call, they had some ideas that came up that perhaps they hadn't considered regarding what their purpose is. As a result of their strengths and also through your concerns. And so be on the lookout over the next couple of days, be really attentive to, what may bother you, what may aggravate you, or also what people are saying about you in terms of your strength. Oh, wow, you really do that extremely well. Or, could you do that for me as well? Because you do it so easily and so effortlessly. Those are your keys. Those are your cues that when people are speaking into you and telling you what you're doing, take notice, because that may actually be where you need to be operating on a regular basis. Okay. Any other thoughts or concerns, or just comments rather, regarding identifying your strengths and or knowing what your concerns are? All right.
Hi.
Oh,
Hi. This is Cynthia. I always had I guess you could say it start off as a passion to help others, whether it's, helping them maybe shop for a particular item, or help them maybe just talk to them or mentor them about a problem or issue, or from kids on up, it's just helping others, whether they're down or just having a bad day, maybe inspiring them, encouraging them. I do a lot of that at work. Keep trying to, not so much as keeping the peace, but, keeping some people's blood pressure down, so
And
that's
so,
where
Cynthia, I was going to ask, so have you thought about turning that into a career? Have you thought about, turning that into a business per se? I mean, it sounds like you genuinely enjoy that. And so you're certainly altruistic in helping others. I was just wondering, or what you do on a daily basis, does that tie into what your work is?
I thought about one part of that, yes. So
Okay.
I just have to step out and do it.
Go, 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 go. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And it's exactly the way, as I explained, when Latrice shared, because when you are operating in your purpose and your God-given talents and gifts, so many others are blessed. So I encourage you to seriously think about that and just do it. What are you waiting for? That's a question for you to think about. Thank you for sharing, Cynthia. And so now we want to talk about identifying tactics to combat feelings of insecurity while pursuing your God-given purpose. There is no room for insecurity, no room. Why? Because we're operating in our purpose, and that is so big and so, it's hard to contain. So there's absolutely no room for insecurity. But we all know the reality is insecurity seeps in, right? So what is the definition of insecurity? Uncertainty or anxiety about oneself, lack of confidence. And then I also like the number 2, the state of being open to danger or threat, lack of protection. And so when you're being challenged to operate in your purpose, it can be scary. It can cause anxiety. There's uncertainty about what the next steps are or should be. If you're going to launch out on your own, if you're going to, create a new business entity, it can cause a great deal of insecurity. Also, when you are operating in your gift or doing something on a regular basis, you may have what's called or may experience what's called the imposter syndrome. And I'm sure some of you have probably heard that phenomenon before, but it's essentially where you are thinking, what if they find out that I'm not as good as I say that I am? Or what if they uncover that the reality about my past? And so how do we combat that? We've got to take out the head trash. Take out your head trash. Take out all of those things that are telling you that you can't, that you shouldn't, that you would never, and replace it with things that reinforce and encourage and affirm. So yes, you can. Yes, you will. Yes, you are. Those are the things that you have to tell yourself on a regular basis. And so you have to be so cognizant and so aware of when those voices are coming in and becoming extremely loud, how to stop them, how to arrest them, how to say that I'm not listening to those thoughts, I'm not believing, I'm not buying into those lies. So that's what's called head trash. And replacing, once you are hearing a negative thought, replacing it with 2 to 3 other positives, that's a great way to continue to keep yourself motivated. I'm a firm believer of setting the atmosphere and also what you put out in the atmosphere. So even if those thoughts come into your mind, to be very careful not to actually verbalize them. because then you're putting it out there. You're putting it out there in the universe. And so I think there's extreme power in positivity and telling yourself that, yes, you are good enough. Yes, you are capable. Yes, you have been selected to participate in this project, in this particular committee, whatever the case may be, because you are phenomenal. So has anyone, if you'd like to share, struggled with taking out the head trash? And I want to see yourself in your mind actually picking up that trash can, taking it out and dumping it, shaking it out, so that you are ridding yourself of all of that negative energy, everything that is holding you down and keeping you from rising up and reaching your greatest potential. Anyone struggled? Anyone want to admit with struggling? I'll be the first to say I struggle with the head trash. Anyone else?
I struggle with that trash too.
And was
Sometimes
that Cynthia?
some days it's hard to get out, and some days are easier than others.
Yes. Yes. And so let's talk about some techniques on how you do that. So if you are feeling insecure, let's talk about some grounding techniques. And this is a concept that I've borrowed from counseling. So you've probably have heard about grounding. And what you see here is a balloon. And so the balloon, threatens to float up, because that's kind of what insecurities will do. They make you feel anxious and that you're out of control and you're possibly floating up, out and away. But by grounding, you're grasping on to concepts, to thoughts, to facts that will bring you back down and keep you centered. And so what do I mean by that? So asking yourself, what am I feeling? Identifying exactly what it is that is causing the insecurity or causing the anxiety. Oftentimes, if your body is beginning to have a physical reaction, you ask yourself, what was the last thought that came through my mind? What was it that just came through that I embraced and that is now causing me to react physically? So identifying exactly what you're feeling and why will help to eradicate or minimize that feeling of insecurity. Also, what's the truth about my situation? So the reality is you are here at this job. You are here about to speak in front of this audience. You are here about to pitch, your idea to this group of investors. That's the reality. You're there. You're already in the moment. And so no one can take that moment from you. That's the reality. And so by focusing and realizing that that's where you are, that's the reality, it causes you to start grounding and to come back down. Don't forget to breathe as well. So you're breathing because, again, many of us, you've been around long enough to have experienced panic attacks, right? So that means your body's reacting to a series of thoughts, and you are having a physical reaction, and you're starting to sweat, your eyes starting to twitch. There are physical manifestations of your mind and what's going through your mind. You can also ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? And I would caution you to caution you about that, because you want to try to remain positive, but you're really challenging yourself to say, okay, really, what is the worst that can happen in this situation? The worst that can happen is that they say no, and that's okay. So that's okay. And you are still alive, and you still have an opportunity to, try again another time. So again, that's a technique for grounding. And you are going to tell yourself, I am important, I am beautiful, and I am damn good at what I do. And so by, again, reinforcing yourself with those positive thoughts, those positive affirmations, that helps you ground. It helps you regain that confidence, and it helps you to go get them. And so that's what we're using. That's what I'm encouraging you to use to fight insecurities. Are there other techniques that others have used that help whenever you feel anxious or insecure or inadequate? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Or was there anything in particular that resonated with you in terms of what I just shared? And again, feel free to use the chat or unmute yourself to share a few words. And if not, then that's great. We'll go to the next slide. Okay. All right. So we're going to, oh, I see a chat. I'm sorry about that. Maybe I didn't see it before. Vanessa says she loves to use positive affirmations. So taking out the negative thoughts. Yes. And again, remember yourself, actually physically picking up that trash can, walking over to that proverbial door and dumping it out. Out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. There's no room. There's no room at all. All right. And so discussing strategies. Let's discuss some strategies that lead to healthy lifestyles and to help keep yourself on the front burner while pursuing your God-given purpose. So front burner living. Yes. I borrowed that from my older kids because I know that's what they use in social media now to really emphasize that that's what we're about to do. So what do I mean by front burner living? What do you see there? There are several burners, right? And oftentimes we as women, we as wives, we as mothers, we as employers, we put ourselves on the back burner and put everyone else first. We will tend to everyone else's needs before we take care of our own. And it's very similar to the analogy that, when you're on the airplane and if in the event of an emergency, to put your mask on yourself first before you try to help anyone else. That's the same concept, that you have to focus on taking care of yourself and keeping yourself on that front burner and not illuminating any of the other burners beforehand. So you may be asking, okay, Shatanice, how do I do that? Well, maybe it means that you take up running, you take up some type of physical activity, you do something different to get out there, get moving, and to get your blood going. Maybe it means you're listening to music, and that helps you remain healthy and stay in a good space. Maybe it means you take advantage of regular massages. When's the last time that you had a massage? When's the last time that you took a walk just for yourself to clear your head? When's the last time you just kind of sat in the moment and just did nothing? Those are all things that you can do to help you stay on the front burner and be healthy. Also, journaling. That's another way to kind of get things out. I'm a big proponent of getting things out of your head, getting it on paper, so that way it's not festering and you're not focused on, just everything that goes through your head on a regular basis. Perhaps it's meditating, getting up at a certain time in the morning. Oftentimes I hear people say, I don't have the time. Well, do you really have the time not to take care of yourself? I also am a firm believer of prayer partners and accountability partners, because let's face it, I think it might have been Cynthia that said, it's hard sometimes to continuously have those positive affirmations going through your head on a regular basis. And so sometimes you need to be able to call someone and say, hey, I'm struggling right now. And if I don't get some assistance or some help, right now, then we're going to have some issues. So having a prayer partner is absolutely important. And renewing your mind. One of my favorite scriptures is Romans 12:2. So that's where you're challenging yourself to renew your mind on a regular basis. And again, it's very similar to taking out the head trash. So I want to ask you, what exactly are you doing? What's on your list? What is it that you need to be doing today, that you need to start doing absolutely right now? And so I would love to hear from everyone who's participating. What do you do to maintain a healthy lifestyle? What do you do to keep yourself on the front burner? Or are there things that I suggested that you think, you know what, I'm going to try that? What are your thoughts?
Hi, Shantanice, it's Latrice. I'll share.
Hey, Latrice.
This year, I started 2019 with a theme, and my theme was the year of self-care, relationship building, and healing. And anything that does not line up with my theme, I'm quick to dismiss it or put it on hold or just put pause on it. Really taking some point in every month to get a massage, to get a foot massage. I'm making it a conscious effort to do a self-care activity every month.
Awesome.
And make sure everything line up with my theme. So that's what I'm doing to keeping that as a front burner remembrance of what I need to be doing to take care of me this year.
Awesome. That's phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing, Latrice. Thank you. Thank you. And I see Vanessa has shared her theme is growth and gratitude for 2019. And she also does monthly massages, works out multiple times a week. She has prayer partners and meditation. So Vanessa, you should be at your top health if you're doing all those things. So that's fantastic. I was going to say Fantastic, which is phenomenal and fantastic merged together. So that's great. Keep it up. I'm hoping that you keep that up. As she says, she's on her way. So great. Is there anyone else who would like to share really quickly?
This is Cynthia. For me, might sound a little selfish, but mine is all about me this year. And that's how I started off this year. It's about me. I've started exercising to kind of clear my head and some other things, and just, kind of just focusing on me and what I need to do to get to a certain level I want to get to this year.
Awesome. So congratulations. Keep it up. That's great. And so it sounds like there are a number of people here on the call who are doing exactly what they need to do. So hopefully that's inspiration for those who are still trying to figure out what they need to do. And confirmation. So hopefully it's confirmation that you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. So congratulations to you all. And so I want to share these additional resources. When I first launched my business, I listened to Michael Todd and the Pace of Grace, and it's part number 3 in particular. And essentially, listening to this particular message just kind of saved my life as a business owner, because of my personality. I'm a go, let's do. And what I heard so loudly, so clearly in this message was, God will give you exactly what you need to do, who you need to meet, and the resources when you need them. And so there's been such a sense of peace as a result of that. And so I definitely encourage you to check that out. Again, it's Pastor Michael Todd, The Pace of Grace, and part 3. One other resource is the Go Hard and Go Home podcast that Patrice Washington hosted with Sharia Jackson. And oh my goodness, I've listened to both of these messages multiple times, but this one in particular, it talks about your yes muscle needs to be strong, but your no muscle needs to be even stronger. And what that means is, as you are presented with opportunities, you can certainly say yes to a number of things, but do you need to be there? And so that's just one portion of that particular message. I encourage you to just, check out the message and be blessed by it. It's a definitely good message for you to hear. And just want to make certain I'm not missing any messages in the chat. So yes, again, that's called Go Hard and Go Home, and Patrice Washington in her Redefining Wealth podcast. And so I just want to open it up for any questions. It is 8:30, and so we'll definitely want to be sensitive to everyone's time. But I think we've had a great exchange, and hopefully you've had some aha moments in terms of understanding what your strengths are. If you don't know what your strengths are, then perhaps your purpose can be found in your concerns, making certain that you are being healthy and keeping yourself at the forefront of your health, and definitely challenging those insecure thoughts by taking out that head trash and using grounding techniques to keep you in the moment and not in your head. So any questions? And if there are not any questions, then I will share that I'd love to see you. So please come out on Saturday, April 27th. In the latter part of the afternoon, this actually happens to be the same day as the Vision Powerhouse event. So go to Vision Powerhouse in the morning at 11, and then in the afternoon, shoot over to the Wolf Creek Library to come say hello, so that you can get a copy of my book, which is called Live Every Moment. And it's a series of short stories, and it just kind of talks about how my faith has carried me through a wide variety of just life events, having a special needs child and experiencing miscarriages and breast cancer diagnosis. I encourage you to check it out. You'll definitely be inspired and blessed. And so with that, I want to say thank you.
And Shantanice, I just want to say thank you for hosting our first webinar of 2019. It was awesome. Learned some great techniques and information. I also want to say I need my book signed. So I'll get it to you, or I'll meet you somewhere and get it signed. But it was also a very inspirational book. It was encouraging. It was very well written, easy to read, and I was blessed by it. So I wanted to let you know that. So well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Latrice, and I'll definitely connect with you to get that signed for you.
Yes.
Shantanice, this is Vanessa. I want to echo what Latrice said about the book. It is so phenomenal. It's one of those books, once you pick it up and start reading it, you don't want to put it down. And like she said, it's a very easy read, but very inspirational. And just to look at your wonderful smile and your personality that's always so upbeat. You've been through a tremendous amount of stuff that you outline in your book. And so it's just a wonderful, wonderful testimony that other women could learn from. So thank you for sharing that with us. We're honored that you shared so much of your personal story.
Thank you for reading it. And I'm glad I had a chance to give you a hug and sign your copy. So I appreciate your support. And so if that's it, then I appreciate everyone. And I know that, as Vanessa stated, that this is being recorded and will be shared at one point in time, sometime soon. So keep your eyes open. And if you know of others who should have been here or could have benefited from what we discussed, once the recording is shared, please send it out, pass it on, and help spread some inspiration. So go live out your purpose and definitely live every moment. Take care. Have a good evening.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.